What's going on YouTube? I'm Wayne and this is Wayne's Fish World. Thanks for tuning in to another episode today, guys. Glad to have you. In this episode, we're continuing a series called My First Aquarium. I'm developing this series to reach out to all the beginners. My channel started for beginners and I wanted to give back in a series. This series is going to be consistent of 12 parts and I highly suggest you go watch the first 2 parts before this. The first part of the series is a video that's all about tank selection. Aquarium selection is the first thing you really need to consider when deciding to set up a new aquarium. There's a lot of questions that were addressed and questioned in this video, and I really hope you can benefit from it. The second part of the series is all about water out of your tap. What I mean by that is that no two water sources are the same. Obviously, we know that people are on different town waters, they're on shared community waters, you're on shallow well, you're on artesian well. It varies residence to residence. And just because you have shallow water and your neighbor has shallow water, you might have 2 different water parameters in each of your houses, even though you're side by side. So it's best to figure out what kind of water quality you have so you can match the fish best for that water source. So that leads to the next part of the series, how to choose your aquarium fish. This is the funnest part, and possibly the most difficult. The longer you get into this pet keeping or hobby, you're going to realize you're going to want more and more. There are people out there that have kept the same type of fish for 25 years and they're content. And there's also people that have to have a little bit of everything. More than likely, you're going to fall in the lines of you wanting a little bit of everything. Choosing your aquarium fish is just like choosing the perfect aquarium. You're going to have to ask yourself a couple of things. What do you want to achieve? And once again, you should have figured this out while selecting your aquarium. Do you want a schooling fish? Do you prefer color? Maybe African cichlids or discus or even saltwater might be for you. Or do you desire a community aquarium? Ranging from surface dwellers to mid-range to bottom dwellers. Maybe you're into monster fish and you love aggressive fish. That's definitely going to limit you. Or perhaps you just want to create a biotope. More than likely, if your dream is an Asian arowana, you're going to want to have some tank mates. So finding fish that is compatible with that fish might also be a chore. But let's narrow it down. Let's talk about water parameters. You're going to want to match your fish's natural habitat closest to your tap water. For example, the water coming out of my well has a pH of 6.5. That's perfect for Amazon fish. My 125 gallon, which you guys are aching to see, and I promise you're going to see it soon. That aquarium is based on Amazonian fish, such as angelfish, plecostomus, cichlids. There's an argument that could be brought up today that most of the aquarium fish you purchase at the local fish store are going to be bred in captivity and they're going to be able to accept a wide range of parameters. I'll somewhat agree with that, but mostly disagree. I believe you should replicate nature as close as possible. You're not going to be able to do a better job than nature. And yes, selective breeding has definitely put the fish today in our favor, and aquarium keeping is much easier. But make it easier on yourself and the fish. Replicate nature. Have fish that are somewhat near the water parameters out of your tap. Another thing to consider when selecting your fish is its diet. Now, diet does not mean just what you're going to feed it. The fish might go after plants. For example, silver dollars in a planted aquarium is a horrible mistake waiting to happen. Or, if you want to keep larger fish like angelfish, Jack Dempsey's, red devils, smaller fish will definitely become lunch. On the other side of the spectrum with saltwater, different type of corals, inverts, algae, and even fish can be on the menu. Another thing to consider with diet is the quality and quantity of food that's needed. Modern day quality is not going to be a problem. You're going to have to pay a little more, but it's definitely in your reach. But quantity of food can be a problem. And what I mean by that is, certain fish like anthias and seahorses are going to have a faster metabolism, so they're constantly eating. The next topic of selecting your fish is size. This ties in with things we've said before, such as diet. The big fish is going to eat the smaller fish, but also size. Small can also be a bad thing. If you got smaller fish or slower fish in an aquarium with faster or bigger fish, they might be outcompeted for food. And if they're smaller fish or poor swimmers like betas and goldfish, they might have a hard time swimming with all that flow. Size is definitely a double-edged sword, and you need to be very careful when selecting radical sides of the spectrum, either be small or big. Definitely do your research on both. Another key point is temperament. Now, once again, that's on both sides of the spectrum. Is your fish aggressive or is it shy? Going back to the discus example, some discus are very interactive, but for the most part, discus are shy creatures. They don't want to be in aquariums with fish that are similar size. It's best to keep them with smaller fish. So a fish that's constantly hiding is going to have a problem living and adapting in an aquarium with faster moving and bigger fish. Definitely accommodate for the fish's temperament. And when it comes to aggressive, they might outcompete or stress out the shyer fish. So that leads on to the next thing, and that's territory. With most of your community fish, this is not going to be a problem. They don't care about territory. But when you get into your more semi and aggressive fish, territory is just as important as water quality. If you don't provide enough niches in your aquarium for certain fish, especially the bigger ones like dovies and green terrors, you're going to have some problems and you're going to end up losing some fish. I can't tell you how much territory you're going to need. That's all going to depend on the size of the fish, the type of the fish, the quantity of the fish, if the fish is breeding. The list goes on. So that's something you're going to have to do some heavy research on. I can't sit here all day and tell you about every single fish in every single situation. Another thing that's overlooked is schooling fish. Definitely keep schooling fish in groups. Some other examples are your cory cats, which is more obvious. Ballast sharks. I love ballast sharks, you guys know that. But these fish also get big. So if you got a fish that likes to school and is also growing to a larger size, you're going to have to accommodate for that. So either your fish be small or big or in the middle. Definitely make sure if your fish is a schooling fish, it's getting the proper housing and tank mates. One of the last things I want to talk about is care level. You might have an aquarium that is set up perfectly for a fish that's harder to take care for. But more than likely, if you're watching this series, you're a beginner, and that's okay. I don't want to see you go out there and buy an expensive fish or a fish that you can't properly care for. It's not good for your wallet and it's not good for the health of the fish. More importantly, it's not good for the fish. Once again, you're going to have to do your personal research on that or hit the comment section below and I'll do my best to help you. And I know the community watching is definitely going to be more than willing to help you. I do want to say one more thing before I end this video. This is my final advice. Get what you want. And what I mean by that is, I get so many comments a day saying, Wayne, what should I put in my aquarium? I've got blah 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 and I want to get some of these fish, but people say they're stupid. If you like betas and you're an elite aquarist, don't be ashamed of that. Do what you want. If you want to fill your aquarium up with rainbow gravel and fake plants and a black light, I'm going to think it's hideous. But in the end, it's your aquarium. As long as you're providing what's right for the fish, that's all that matters. Other than that, guys, if you disagree with anything I said, definitely leave it in the comment section below. Maybe we can learn something. If you got a question, definitely leave it in the comment section. That way the community can come together and grow. Until next time, I've been Wayne with Wayne's Fish World. I hope you liked this video. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Later.